everyone. Thank you for joining us today at the Punla Coffee Table. We're here for one of our chats around the coffee table with myself, my wife Judy, and Joy, and we're going to address some questions. So sit back, get comfortable, and we'll have a chat around the table. I'm going to summarize the questions at the end that we've kind of addressed that we'd listed, but one that we have not talked about is one that I think a lot of Christians, especially in America, struggle with, and that's why do evil people prosper or apparently prosper? You look at the richest men in the world, and they're not Christian. They're not believers in Jesus. So the question is why? Why are those people apparently prospering when the people we work with in the Philippines struggled to put food on the table?
So that's what there's the common grace in this world. Okay,
so back to where we were. So we were talking about why people prosper. Why does Bill Gates or Jeff Bezos or any of these super rich people or the mafia, George Soros, I mean all these people who are not Christian, they don't follow the Jesus that we know, and they apparently prosper. I think maybe part of our problem is our definition of prosper.
Yeah.
A lot of money is not prosper. It's
contentment. Contentment is the key. You can have all this. I don't remember who said before. That's like, so how much more you need to be content? Just a little more, just a little bit more than what I have now. So there's no end to it. And money does not grow on a tree. You have to work for it. And the more money you have, the more stress you get. Your problem.
You're more and more worried about losing whatever
it is so you buy,
have, right?
You get something to protect your money that's supposed to protect you. You earn money. You try to get as much money as you can get, so you can have this security, and then you buy security to protect your security.
Yeah.
Never ending cycle. And that's what it's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. It's like it's a common grace. God sent rain to the just and the unjust. So there's poor people on both spectrum, and there's rich people on both spectrum. That's a common grace. But the thing that we can get from that is God is just, God is loving. He will do what is right. And sometimes we think we can do a better job, but we can't. We can't. There's the other thing too. It's like if you remember the temptation of Jesus, it's like the devil says, "I'll give you everything to you." So that means the devil has power over the material things of this earth, and when you're aligned to the devil, he can give you things. Well, but the thing is, in the end, you're still going to answer that to God. And
if you think about the temptation of Christ, it's actually a great roadmap to the biggest temptations for us, and money and power were on that list. If the devil thought that was enticing to the Son of God, how much worse would that be to us? And sometimes too much of a good thing actually can destroy you, because then all of a sudden it takes your focus off where your focus is supposed to be, which is God, right?
It's one of those when you put your trust now on the material things instead of putting your trust in God, then you're losing your way.
And Jesus says it's hard for a rich man to enter heaven. It's not his riches. It's because he's taken his focus off of what's most important. Because, if I'm worried about my stuff, or, I worry about my fellow Americans because our stuff is good. And, I've seen people where they're looking around and they're like, is heaven really going to be better than this? And it's like, you got no idea. If you really think this is good, then how much better will heaven actually be? But I think prosperity can actually be the biggest deterrent to focusing on
God.
What's important. We get too caught up in the temporal and we forget about the eternal.
See, yeah, the problem with us, we see the temporal, and we have to realize that if you live up to 80 years old, let's say 90, what is that to eternity? That's a very short time. If you exchange your eternity to, like, okay, I'm gonna have all the pleasures in this life right now for 80 years or 90 years, that's a very short time. You're not having a good choice. You have to think again, because that's not a good trade-off.
Well, and I think that's a good way to put it. It's like, okay, if if I was going to offer you $10 million, would you give away everything else for that $10 million? I mean, you give away your family, you give away your relationships, you give away your eternity. It's not a very good trade if all you're going to get is that thing, because you could actually die tomorrow and never got to use that thing, and then you're lost. And I think we get so caught up in the things that we don't realize that they're not. There's no moving van following a hearse. You don't get to take anything with you to the afterlife except the things that you put in the afterlife, which is the things you get for doing service to others, the things uh, that moth and rust don't take away.
Well, that's investing in people's lives, helping them to know our God, and so that's what's eternal. That's what's eternal.
Well, thanks for joining us today at the Punla Coffee Table. I hope you enjoyed our chat around the table. If you have some ideas of some questions you'd like for us to chat about, please send them to us. You can leave comments here or on our website, or you can email me directly. We really appreciate any of your feedback. But until next time around the Punla Coffee Table, God bless everyone.